Hello out there, distance learners. I'm so happy that you could join me today for our energy slideshow. You each get a copy of this in your Google Classroom, so you'll have a video. Please watch the video, and then you will have the slideshow that you can go through on your own. So I thought I would walk you through the slideshow today. First off, as we present here, remember that you can use the arrow keys to slide through the different slides. I'm going to press my arrow to the right. Slide number 2 has a great video here. I did not set it up so that you could watch the video with me, but you will click here where it says click to watch. And there is a gentleman who does an amazing job of explaining series and parallel circuits. And that's really our lesson today, understanding the difference between a series and a parallel circuit. They both are awesome and amazing and have different values. So check those out on that video. He does an amazing job of making it super kid friendly. So then we're going to talk about what we know about circuits. So looking at this picture here, you can see that we have a battery, and you can see that the electricity flows through to the light, and we have a switch, and from the switch it is in the closed position, so electricity can flow all the way around the circuit, and the light bulb should light up. So that's what we know about this circuit. How can we get two light bulbs to light at the same time? That's a great question. So how could I get two lights to light up at the same time? If two light bulbs are connected to one circuit, so here's a light bulb and here's a light bulb, so that the electric current goes through all components one after another, that circuit is called a series. Okay, so let's start here at our battery. Our electricity flows and it goes to the switch. The switch is closed, so the electricity can still and continue to flow. And then it goes to this light. It lights up this light. It goes through this light around this, through this wire to the second light, and it lights up back to our battery and then around again. And the electricity continues to flow through our series. Please notice that it is one giant closed series circle. And it doesn't have to be a circle, but it does have that back and around shape that we've talked about many times. This is a series circuit. Now, if you were to do this, you would see that the light bulbs are very dim. Okay? Why do you think the light bulbs are so dim? They're not full strength light bulbs. Take a moment, just think to yourself, why do you think the lights are not as bright when you have two of them? Awesome. So you hopefully have had some thought about that and how it has to take energy, and then it uses some of that energy, and then it's got to share that energy. So we have two light bulbs going at the same time, and they all are flowing in the same path, one direction. There's no other choices for the flow of electricity. The electricity must go around this way. Awesome thoughts. So what I'd like you to do right now is take out your notebook. Draw a series circuit that makes two bulbs light up. Okay? Why do you think the two lights are dim in that series? So you may want to go back one slide so you could draw something similar. This isn't art class right now, this is social studies. So just give me a sketch drawing of a circuit with two light bulbs that would light up. All right? And then what you thought about earlier as to why they are dim. Write that in your notebook. Next slide. We have done this one before, but I just kind of wanted to remind you that you could add more batteries. So clicking on this will allow you to test which ways to orientate the batteries. Remember, you will click on this blue link to get access to those. If you are not signed into FOSS, when you click on this here, it will bring you to the FOSS sign-in page. Remember to log in with Clever. And mine logged in super quickly with Clever, it appears like. You may have to click Login with Clever, then click on Login with Google. You may have to click Login with Clever. You may have to search for your elementary school, then click on your elementary, then hit Login with Google. Notice that it did take a long time. It is spinning to load. Once your page loads like this, you can go back to the slideshow, and when you click on it, then it will work. So a little bit tricky. This is our third time now getting into FOSS. Hopefully you are able to get into Google or into the FOSS system. Remember, a lot of times too, if you just start by opening a tab and going to elementary resources, once you click on elementary resource page, once you start, hey, I'm going through the slideshow, go to the elementary resource page, click on FOSS. If you have this tab running in the background, then when you go through, everything will just work so much easier. So good little reminder right there. Next, in your notebook, after you did that activity, why is it important, or what is important about orientation of the D cells? Describe what you discovered. And really what's important is that our electricity is flowing. Notice when you go negative to negative, the currents would crash into each other and they will not work. Here they're flowing apart from each other. They will not work. We want them to go together. It's teamwork. We need to get these batteries working as a team. Please write something similar to that in your notebook. Think about what you discovered. Next, describe the pathway of the electricity that flows through a circuit. What do you remember about series circuit? So our electricity right now is going through our battery. It's going around, so from the positive through the negative to the light bulb. It then has to go through the next wire to the next light bulb and back around. And so it's double the necessary energy needed because there are two light bulbs. So how can you light two light bulbs brightly with a D cell? So right now we got dim lights going on. They do work. They're both working. It's great. But how do we get them to be bright lights? It's an excellent science question. Let's explore. Parallel circuits. Please notice that we now are going to have more wires and more options for our energy to flow. So whenever a circuit splits or goes two or more components, or goes to two or more components, it's called a parallel circuit. Each bulb has its own circuit with the D cell. Each bulb has its own pathway to the D cell. So notice that when we start with this one, our energy can flow here and around. Oops, I went backwards. Here and around and back. Here and around and back. Here, our electricity can go to this one and then around back, or it can travel through and around this way. So here's one loop, and here's the second loop. And so you have two loops or two or more pathways for our parallel circuit. Very cool. That was explained in the video in the very first page. If you watched that video, he did an amazing job of showing that to you. Next, I want you to draw a parallel circuit that makes two light bulbs burn brightly. You can look at the previous slide copied into your notebook. Remember, this is an art class. Just sketch it out, but do it well. Why do you think two lights are bright when they are in parallel? So before, when they were in the series, they were dim. Why now in the parallel circuit, why are they brighter? Think to what we just talked about on the previous slide about the number of pathways. What are some more complex circuits you can investigate? So this is just you thinking, hey, what else could I investigate? I think about Christmas lights and all the lights on a tree. Those are pretty bright. I would love to explore that more. Oh, that's just my thought. Maybe you have a thought of more complex lighting. Maybe in your home you have more than one light bulb. That would be interesting to explore and learn more about and ask questions about. Very cool. So in your mind, how are series and parallel circuits alike? How are they different? In your mind, how are they similar? How are they different? When might a series circuit be the best design? When would being light bulbs in a series be a great design? When do you think parallel circuits might be a great design? Which design transfers more energy? What questions do you have about series and parallel circuits? Reviewing vocabulary here, we have a series circuit, and that is a circuit that has only one pathway for our current to flow. And lastly, we have a parallel circuit, a circuit that has two or more pathways for our current to flow. Those are our two vocabulary words. They will be on your quiz on Friday, so please make sure you know the difference between a series and a parallel circuit. Please make sure that you, number one, drew a series circuit, and number two, that you drew a parallel circuit in your notebook. That was your responsibility for our assignment for today. And lastly, how can you light two bulbs brightly with 1D cell? Is it series? Is it parallel? Which would get it brighter? What do we say? Absolutely. A parallel circuit will get us two bulbs burning brightly because it has two pathways. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And lastly, I would love for you to read this in our Science Online book. Again, in order to do this, you had to have a tab open for FOSS. Then you can click right here where it says pages 13 to 18. Again, at the bottom, it'll have a little magnifying glass with a plus sign to make it easier to read. It is loading slow for me today, of course. Whenever I record, it seems to do that. Starting on page 13, please read through this. Again, on the bottom of the screen, it's covered here, but there is the plus sign to make it larger. Read through the series and the parallel circuits. Wonderful examples of our series and parallel circuits here, giving you different looks. I love it. Lastly, we're going to Christmas lights. Page 18 is where we're going. Look at this, 2 batteries, 1 light bulb. That's so cool. It's great stuff. Read about it. You will love it. And you can stop right. Whoa. Look at that circuit. That's an awesome circuit. So there are more circuits, and that's why I asked you to have some questions about those, because these circuits can get very complex. But again, they're also very simple, just working with the flow of electricity. So those are our lessons for today. You have this slideshow for you to go back on. We will have a quiz on Friday that I'm sure you will be absolutely ready for if you watch the video on slide number 2, and if you read through this set of pages and again draw in your notebook. As always, if you have questions, please seek me out. I am happy to talk science or social studies with you at any time because I absolutely love them. Friends that are distance learning, you stay awesome.